thank you so much, everyone, for joining. So this is a brand new initiative by Vinadari. A little bit of Vinadari, right? So it was founded in 1978 by Gana Kala Kasturi Srimati Anuradha Madhusudan. So it has given platform for thousands of people to showcase their talents in terms of what they want in Carnatic music. So we've got a lot of categories inside Vinadari. At Vinadari, the experience itself is different. So the experience is very artistic. The journey is very unique. A lot of people say that their journey is very meaningful as well. A lot of people say that their experiences have given them a lot of memorable moments. Our participants come from various age, various locations, and then they showcase their talent, and then they come up with a lot of suggestions for us, which in terms of whether it is Carnatic music or devotional songs, dance, it can be anything. The journey itself is unique. Kala Conversation is something. With these conversations, we would want to celebrate the achievements of the winners, and we would love to encourage a lot of wisdom induced to Kala Conversations, and then let us all enjoy together. So today we have a very special guest with us. Her name is Manaswitha. She's the winner of the Kala Saurabha 2026. She's been a star performer as well. So she hails from Mumbai, and she's participated in 3 categories right now. One is film, the other one is Carnatic, and the other one is devotional. So thank you so much, Manaswitha, for your time. So we welcome you on behalf of Vinadari.
Oh, thank you for having me as well.
So let us begin. This will be a very informal / formal conversation that we'll have with you today, just to understand the journey, just to understand how you started, just to understand what brings you to the world of music, what brings you to the world of Carnatic music. So tell me about yourself. Who are you, and what do you do in life? Tell me a brief about who you are.
That's a great question. That's an interesting question because it took me time to figure out who I am philosophically. Okay, so I am Manaswitha. I am learning Carnatic music since past 11 years. Initially, I was under the tutelage of Uma Chaganti, and she's from Visakhapatnam. I hail from Visakhapatnam, and then I had to move to Bombay for my studies. And currently I am under the tutelage of 2 people. I'm learning violin under Sheshadri sir, and I'm learning Carnatic music under my guru Srimati Praveena Gautaman. She's from Vashi, Mumbai. So I also have completed my engineering in electronics and telecommunication from Bombay, and then I am a college topper as well, along with my music journey. So music is something I found when I was of around 10 to 11 years old. That was a mutual conversation with my dad, wherein I just asked him, where are we going? And then he was like, we are going to a music school where I'll show you what it is. I was a bit adamant at the start. I was like, I don't want to do it, I'm not interested in doing it, and all of that negative emotions, how would I do it? I was still very young. So he and my mom took me to a music teacher initially when I was in Visakhapatnam, and then that lady just asked me to sing Sa Pasa, and that was when she said she has potential. This girl has some potential towards music. She has some, karma, we say, there's this bond with music, there's this law of attachment with it. You should continue.
11 years, you said, is a very young age for
young age,
a lot of people. So when did you start learning? You had that zeal, you said. So when was the journey? When did you start learning music?
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. I had a lot of breaks in between. Like I started at 11. I learned a bit and parts of music till 13, and then I had to take a break because I shifted, cities because of my dad's transfer, and there were a lot of change in cultural values. There were change in motivations, what I was chasing for. And then when I again came back to Visakhapatnam, like with my dad's transfer, that's when I found my ma'am, who actually I found her in a music school again. I got her number, and that was when she actually properly started training me when I was 14. 14ish, 15ish, and then she started with the basics, early swaras, the vocal training and everything, and then
Mm-hmm.
there itself I reached the Varnam stage like within 1.5 year, 2 years because of the potential, of course, and then I came to Bombay. Here, Bombay gave me the exposure at 15 to 16ish. I've started singing outside, started participating in a small golus, Navratri golus. They've asked us to sing Ragam Nerval Swaram. They've asked us to sing small kritis. That's where I started building my confidence, and the real exposure started when I actually came to Bombay, when I was 15 or 16, like 8 years ago.
Right, right. So, what made you choose this?
Okay, so I think I would be very grateful to say this. Music
Hmm.
chose me. I did not choose music. It found its
Oh,
way
it's the
back
other
to
way
me.
around. Right,
Yeah.
right.
When I was young, I used to run away. I used to run away from the thought of music, or because I was a free spirited person. But then
Hmm.
over the years, I realized one thing, that it finds you when it has to, and that's the basic effort you put towards music. You start practicing, you develop that discipline, you develop
Correct.
that consistency, those efforts that comes from your parents. They give you that motivation. They tell you, start singing, start practicing. That's your guru who tells you, participate here, participate there. They start teaching you the bhavam, but that's this one internal fire that comes, that one thought, that's an internal signal that says, no, chase this is the one for you. So I think that's how I got that signal when I was young. I used to find peace, I used to find that calm comfort. It used to give
Hmm.
me that sense of completion and validation that you're a musician, you're different from the world, and that's how you find God. That's how you start connecting with things. Ki, okay, this was meant to be. So I think it was always music that found its way back to me. Violin I started learning very recently, but again, due to the long exposure in the Carnatic music, it's very easy to
Hmm.
play also, because you just know how the
Correct.
ragam goes, how the talam goes, how the shruti, and the more you sing outside, the more you develop that confidence, and then that's how it is. So I've started Bollywood music also. That Hindustani version also excites me a lot, because it's quite different from Carnatic music. It's quite different in terms of cultural values and how you project your singing, your voice out there. So I think different cultures, exploring different cultures, being in different cities, I realized Carnatic music, gives that connection with God, and that's how I chose it again.
I was actually listening to you when you said your father took you to a school,
Hmm.
right?
Correct.
So there plants a question: who else encouraged you to begin this journey? I know you went to a school, you went
Correct,
to
correct.
a teacher, then yeah, music itself found you. You said so. Who else in your life encouraged you to take this up?
Okay, so this during my childhood, actually, it was my
Hmm.
mom who used to drop me to schools, who used to tell me keep practicing. I think it's my mom. It's even my mom right now also who gives me that motivation and says she says, of course, she says that kala sabko nahi milti. You don't find talent everywhere. So music finds you, and when you get it, it's in Telugu we say it's Purva Janma Sukrutam, means पिछले जन्म का, it is your good karma that finds your music. I think it's my mom first. In terms of ragam, bhavam, and chasing what I want, it's my dad. I think it would be my parents, and it's my sister also, because even she's a musician, and we both are the Carnatic duo. We perform it everywhere together. That's how we
Right.
found each other's way. We keep on motivating each other. It would
Hmm.
be my mom also, because she's the one who is the adamant one. She'll be like, you have to
Hmm.
sing, you have to sing. That's how you learn. You have to
Yes.
practice this, and that's how you learn. And motivating me, pushing me. That's how I think I found the motivation, because there are days in which you feel that blockage, you don't feel like doing anything. That's when there should be
Absolutely.
this
I
one
agree to
push
agree.
from your parents or your sister who says, it's good, you'll do it, just give it some time. It's my friends also, like there are 2 3 people in which I lean on a lot. They
Hmm.
say that I have this one future potential out there, so I should go and chase it. So I think these few set of people have always been there. I think my dad keeps on telling me, he couldn't get the pass on music. My grandfather was a good, he has this hearing power. He used to listen to a lot of music. He did not sing, but
Hmm.
that's how music came into our genes, and me and my sister sing a lot. So I think
Oh
that's
yes,
how.
I would definitely would want to agree because when even I love
Correct.
to listen to a lot of music, but
Hmm.
sometimes I don't really know how to sing. But yes,
Correct.
hearing itself is,
Okay.
is is really a healing task there.
Hmm.
I think
Correct.
I will completely agree to whatever you said.
Correct. Hmm.
Now that you've learned music, you've given stage performances, you said with your sister. Let's
Correct.
talk about your learning experience. Let's talk about how do you feel? Because music just is not about listening or singing; it's a feel in itself, right?
Hmm.
So, how do you feel when you sing something? It can be anything. It can be anything of your choice. How do you feel? What is the feel?
I've explored 3 or 4 types of singing now. I've been into English
Mm,
music, I've been into Bollywood, I've been into Bollywood as in Hindustani and Carnatic also. I've been
mm,
into
mm,
other
mm.
languages, of course. But there's
Right.
this one charm or the potential spark in Carnatic music which I feel comes from the ragams. The Carnatic music is a vast planned system of ragams. The
Okay.
great composers, Swain Tyagaraja, Muthuswami
Mm,
Dikshita, there's a lot of
mm,
people, Shama Shastri, all of them, all of them have made that planned. The chaos is there in other music systems as well. That's also planned. But I think Carnatic music has that defined system, this has to be
right.
sung this way. The Ragam,
Mm,
Bhavam, Talam could be your choice, the Neruval, everything could be your Manodharmam. That's how you portray yourself. That's your emotion. But there's a set of rules that is laid down for
right.
proceeding,
Mm,
like
mm,
you have to learn varnams and kritis in order to proceed for the ragam nirval swaram, because that's how the rules are laid. So when you start exploring those rules, you start exploring more and more ragams, you start listening more, you start listening to different kritis, how different
mm,
composers have composed it, the same ragam. Like for example, I'll tell, if
mm.
suppose this ragam Ananda Bhairavi, okay,
Okay. Mm,
Tyagaraja Kritis have a specific type of Ananda Bhairavi, whereas
mhm,
Muthuswami Dikshita has a unique tinge of Ananda Bhairavi, or I would
mm,
say
mm.
Purvi Kalyani. These are these kind of ragams, or Abheri. Other composers, Abheri is kind of very typical, very kind of listening to Abheri, whereas Nagumomo and Tyagaraja's Kritis, it's very
Yes.
typical. So listening to different composers, different
Mm,
artists, there's this different people singing different kritis and their emotions. So the more you listen to them, you start learning how to portray that. And when you start listening to different people, your brain starts comprehending, you start listening to it, you understand, okay, this kriti is supposed to sound this way. Not that's a specific rule, you have to have your own sort of singing. But then when you start singing it, when you start learning the bhavam, the ragam, the talam, the words, those composers have set down a specific beautiful set of literature and poetry. And that's when you learn the architecture of the kriti, ki, okay, that's the kind of devotion they've had, and you start
right.
feeling those emotions. And that's how the kriti comes out in a very ripe manner. The more you listen, the more you understand the words, the more you put the bhavam, the more you start feeling it, you'll start getting attached to that kriti, that ragam, and then to God, you'll start feeling everything. So I think the feel is unexplainable. It can't be explained in mere words. I can't just say I'm happy, I'm nostalgic. That's a different mixed set of emotions, because every line is
Mm.
different, and then when you start singing this, every set of emotion that follows it. So I think it would be mixed emotions.
Yeah. So talking about emotions, talking about happiness, talking about nostalgia. Do you have a favorite song or a kriti or a composition or a style? Uh, and also tell me something. Why do you like that? So I like a certain song.
Hmm.
So let's say if I like a certain song, for example,
Correct.
I like it for the lyrics. I like it for the music itself. So
Okay.
do you have something in favorite saying that, okay, this is my favorite composition of all time
Okay.
or favorite
So
raga of all time?
yeah. So actually, there are a lot of specific set of compositions. There are like one or
Mm,
two, but I think Tyagaraja Swami's compositions and Tadlapaka Annamacharya compositions, they've been ones who have
mm,
always attracted me, because they have been social reformers as well. One kriti called Prakkala Nilabadi in Karahara Priya, Mr. Chapu. I think that's something I've always loved in Tyagaraja's composition, because there's this subtle explanation of, he tells Prakkala, there's no word called Prakkala, okay, but that's how they've made that literature over the years. It has been evolved, and he says how Lord Rama's has always been there, and the lyric value is too much. And then there's this one more, Nagu Momo. That's something I've been listening from my childhood. I always wanted to learn, and I've learned
Even
it
I like that
recently.
song. Even I like that song.
Yeah, so the explanations, he uses this word Khagaraju, he uses Nagumomu Galavani. There's this different words, he uses. It's very typical. I just love that. And I think post that, this is one more kriti in Annamacharya's compositions. He says Yenta Matramana. So I think that's where he explains how people see God in different ways. And in the first stanza, he says, like Koluturu Memu Vaishnavulu, Korimito Vishnudani, all of that. And then he tells that, if I think of you like you're a mountain, you're a mountain. If I think that you're a small drop of, on that Tamarapaku, we say, if you're small drop on that, you're that only. So how much ever you think of it, I think connects to a bit of law of manifestation as well, that kriti. So I think these three are the kritis that are my go-to whenever I keep on listening to them a lot. And that's how MS versions are my favorite in all the three of them. So I think I listen to a lot of MS, and the way she pronounces this third one, the Entamatramna kriti, I think that's how I
Listening to whatever you said, it now asks me to a certain question. Could you sing any of one of those? Because it's more of something which I understood while you spoke. I actually would want to listen from you, because I know how favorite things will get, or how near it is for us for some songs to talk about. Well, I would love to listen to any one of those. Just
Okay,
small,
I'll sing
one or
Yenta
two
Matramana because
sentences
I
here
think
and there.
that's one of the most favorite kritis of mine. I'll sing that for you. ఎంత మాత్రమున ఎవరు తలచిన అంత మాత్రమే నీవు ఎంత మాత్రమున ఎవరు తలచిన అంత మాత్రమే నీవు ఎంత మాత్రమున ఎవరు తలచిన అంత మాత్రమే నీవు కొలుతురు మిము వైష్ణవులు కోరిమితో విష్ణుడని పలకుదురు మిము వేదాంతులు పరబ్రహ్మం అనుచు కొలుతురు మిము వైష్ణవులు కోరిమితో విష్ణుడని పలకుదురు మిము వేదాంతులు పరబ్రహ్మం అనుచు తలతురు మిము శైవులు తగిన భక్తులను శివుడనుచు తలతురు మిము శైవులు తగిన భక్తులను శివుడనుచు అలరి పొగడదురు కాపాలికులు ఆది భైరవుండనుచు ఎంత మాత్రమున ఎవరు తలచిన అంత మాత్రమే నీవు.
Beautiful.
నిన్నెదురు శక్తేయులు శక్తి రూపు నీవనుచు దర్శనమున నిను నానా విధులను తలపుల కొలతురబదింతురు సిరుల మిముయే అల్ప బుద్ధి తలచిన వారికి అల్పం దబుదు గరిమల మిముయే ఘనమని తలచిన ఘన బుద్ధులకు గనుడవు నీ వలన కొలతే లేదు మరి నీరు కొలది తామరవు ఆవల భాగీరథి దరి బాహుల జలమే ఊరిన ఎట్లు శ్రీ వెంకటపతి నీవైతే మము చేకొని ఉన్న దైవము శ్రీ వెంకటపతి నీవైతే మము చేకొని ఉన్న దైవము ఈ వలనే ఈశ్వరనని ఎదను ఏ పరతత్వము నాకు ఇది ఏ పరతత్వము నాకు ఇది ఏ పరతత్వము నాకు. No, I sang the second stanza also because that's how he tells how this is great, this is this. He keeps on explaining how other people view as different gods, but then you end up being the one god. You're this one person, different people perceive you in different emotions. And then he says, if I think of you as Mount Ol, you're a Mount Ol. If I think of you as just small ant, you're an ant. That's how he tells Param Anubhu ka explanation in that particular stanza. So I sang that's the second one as well. So.
Absolutely. So what I feel is you're perfect. in this, because you did explain the meaning of the song as well. So I'm sure there'll be a lot of challenges coming in while you practice, or while you learn. Tell me about a certain challenge, or do you think if there's anything to be highlighted, saying that this was a
Correct.
roadblocker, or this was a showstopper? Uh, what do you think were the
I
challenges?
think this is one of a most sensitive questions. I think that many people deny to answer because nobody wants to show their blockages to the whole world. But I think for budding musicians, first thing would be your discipline. Practicing every day is such a difficult thing. It needs a lot of consistency because when you're young, it needs that push and motivation from your people around you. They keep on telling you, you have to practice, you have to practice. You don't understand the importance, and you'll be like, why are they even doing this to me? Why?
Right.
That question is something I think if people are going through that, I think it would get better. The more you start being around musicians, the more you end up listening, you'll start loving it. You'll keep on to that process, you'll latch on to that process. And once you latch on to that process, it's very easy because it's very easy. You just have to, you'll start practicing it every day. You'll learn it. Everything would
Right.
fall in place. People say, I've been around friends who are like, 20 के पहले कचेरी करना है, 22 के पहले you have to do this, you have to do. I mean, what they say is 20 before 20 you have to finish your arangetram, before 22 you have to learn everything. That's not the limit. It will come over time. You'll start learning. That's the first thing I figured out. Being the elder one, it has been difficult, but yeah. The second thing is, while performing outside, there will be a lot of blockages in how you present yourself outside. I
Right.
think that's something you wouldn't get while watching. That's something you wouldn't get while other people tell you ki, you have to sing this way, you have to sit like this, you have to show yourself like this. That wouldn't come that way. I think that comes naturally post a while. You start singing outside, you learn from your mistakes, you see people sing, you sit with your guru, you see how she sings, he or she of course. You listen to a lot of concerts. I think that naturally comes out. The confidence
Right.
comes out. You won't forget the lyrics. There are this traumatic experiences where I forgot the actual lyrics, but you learn. While you practice, you learn. The third thing would be certain specific kritis would require a lot of time and energy. You wouldn't get them in one day. The talam and everything, you wouldn't get them in one day. You have to keep on practicing. You have to practice is the only key. And I think you can lazy out also. Being the Gen Z one in the musician, I would say you can lazy out. It's okay. But I think when the work needs to be done, it has to be done. You have to sit and do that internal work and everything. That's how you start learning, and lot of practice will change your voice, change the way you present. And the more you sing outside, the more you go for competitions and exposures, things do get better after a while.
Wonderful. So this is something which I really like from whatever you said. Being a Gen Z, you still agree to something which an ancient saying says, practice makes man perfect.
Yeah,
So that is great.
I do.
So talking about competitions, like what role will the competitions play, or the exams play in your life?
Okay, honestly speaking, there are like these two opinions. Being the younger generation in the music, there are like these two branches I would explain. In computer language, we have this, Git branch. You have like two different branches. The main branches, I'm just explaining it in a Gen Z way, okay? The main branch is practice. The main branch comes out as music. From that comes the first major line, that is, you learn stuff, you know how to sing, you put the sangati, you know how to sing it in this way. You learn that from concerts, you learn that from a lot of YouTube. Of course, people go through a lot of YouTube. People are using
Absolutely.
ChatGPT for music also now these days. You can actually, that thing explains it. For our music exams, we do that. Before going for the exam, we ask, ChatGPT to give us a lot of important points. I am a Gandharva degree holder as well. I've done my
Okay.
Vishalas Pratham. I've passed, for the in the first ranker category.
Right.
So being there, एक रात पहले also I've studied like 10 days before, I've studied 1 year before also. So
Right.
that's the first branch that comes out, that is practice, concerts and everything. The second branch, I think, that builds up confidence, that builds up, this is subtle spark, that girl is singing well, you feel that urge to sing well. That could be negative emotion, that could be positive also, but we choose to take the positive emotion. Not everybody does, but I choose to take it. So the second branch that comes out is competition. Now, what competition does to you is, for 1 2 competitions you'll be humbled. For the third one you'll be sad you did not win. For the fourth one you'll be overwhelmed. It's like, no, I just don't want to go and everything. From the fifth one, you'll learn that this mistake made me not win. I'll correct this mistake in this. I'll maintain the shruti. I'll maintain the bhavam. I'll sing once again. And the fifth competition, not the fifth, then the 10th one, not the 10th, then the 20th one. Some or the one competition would give that breakthrough. I think for me that happened. That gave me the breakthrough, and that gave me confidence. Okay, it's something like, the judges are good people. They're well doing in their life, so they would give you suggestions and everything. You learn, so you get to learn a lot. Then you'll see other people who are singing. You get to learn their patterns, how they are. That comes with age, actually, of course. But people who are more into this since childhood, they'll know when you go, that girl is putting that sangati that way. Okay, she's practicing for these many hours. You get a perspective, I think. Perspective will change how you practice, and then that will give you confidence. That in turn makes you a good musician. So I think that's the unpopular opinion that goes on with competitions, I believe.
Absolutely. So we spoke about judges, we spoke about competitions, we spoke about inspirations, we spoke
Correct.
about takeaways. There's a lot that we spoke about. Tell me
Yeah.
what Veenadhari plays. What role does Veenadhari play in your life?
Correct.
And its competitions?
I think I'm not even, I just don't have to flatter out anyone out there, but I think this is one of the best platforms I've ever gone through. Not
Why
that
do you?
you're taking, I'm not saying this because, you're taking my interview, I'm getting the prizes or something, but I have had my share of hardships here as well, competing when I was in the junior category. Competing was so difficult. The practice sessions were so difficult, but over the time I got used to that system of, I like the concept of submitting video before one time, and you
Yeah.
get the notification you're selected for the second round, and then you have that particular time to actually practice, to evaluate what has gone wrong, and then you go for the second round. You get that time, and then immediately after second round, I personally excitedly I wait for the results. I was like, they announce it on YouTube, there's a set of people watching. There's a lot.
Wow.
I think I like the process, how the rounds are, the round 1, round 2. I like how the judges evaluate people, because I've heard a lot of other contestants, they have beautiful performances as well, the perfect ones. I get to learn a lot from those people also. And then I like the way how judges manage everything, the management, the time complexity which they maintain. I think everything about this platform taught me a lot over the years. So I think this is one of the best competition platforms. I would be going back once again every year to perform. That gives me that sense of home, like, yeah, this is my home, this is my competition, this is my award winning this thing. So
How do you feel when your name is announced? When I was actually I love to play cricket. So when my
okay.
name is announced by the board or somebody, I really feel overjoyed. I jump. I used to jump when I used to when I used to see my name on the board. So how
Okay.
do you feel when your name is announced?
um I think that's mixed emotions for me, because that takes a lot of days, not even days, nights of tears, nights of struggles, nights of singing. There are days in which the sangati comes out perfect. There are days in which you can't even sing. There are days in which you're tired. There are days in which you're very happy. So I think that's a mixed emotion. First, I feel a bit emotional, ki, oh my god, I won the prize, and then I'll jump around. I'm like so excited. I'm still 20, but then I'll behave like a 10-year-old kid. I'll start yelling, screaming, show that to my parents, ki, see, I won a prize. They'll be like, oh my god, that's how the conversation follows. But I think I have mixed emotions.
Oh, you have mixed emotions in terms of when your name is announced
Yeah,
in
yeah.
the.
First nervousness, I'll cross my fingers. I'll be like, nah, Maja. I mean, the first, the first prize should be mine, or second prize. And when then they announce third prize, I'll be nervous. Oh my god, the second prize is coming. Who will get it? But when I won the first prize last year also, not last year,
Okay.
last year I won the first prize in the devotional category. So I was like, oh my god, is my name being announced? And then I was yelling out there. Oh my god, I was excited, overjoyed. But then the nervousness hits first because you're proceeding towards the top rankers. It feels a bit surreal and joy.
Right. So just going through a journey, right? So young Manaswita went to a with her father, went to a teacher,
Correct.
then she started practicing, she
Hmm.
started learning music, she started to inspire herself, she saw hardships. If you were to be an inspiration,
Okay.
right, to your friends, or if you want to tell me or somebody as to why learning music is important or practicing is
Correct.
important, what would you say?
Okay,
There,
so
there are two things in this. There are two
yeah.
things in this. Now, let's talk about one instance, right? So,
Okay.
let's say Manaswita won another competition,
Correct.
and then what if I were to be a friend of yours, let's
Correct.
say I'm
Correct.
20, and I say, hey, why do you think I have to learn music? Why?
Okay, so this comes from a thought which I believe. Okay,
Hmm.
this could be a bit deep and dense, but I think I have believed it since my childhood.
Hmm.
Okay, so they used to say music even melts the mountains, even rocks start speaking when they hear music.
Hmm. Hmm.
Why do we think they've said that? If those people have said that, our ancestors have said that, there should be a meaning.
Hmm.
So what I believe is every person's heart,
Hmm.
heart as in the soul
Hmm.
understands one language, one
Okay.
kind of language.
Hmm.
It could be Hindustani, it could be Bollywood, it could be. Why? I'll tell you. When, for example, in movies, if they're supposed to show a scene or something, why do they add a background music? And that
Hmm.
thought, music expresses what the soul, what your mouth can't, music expresses. There are two things in this world that can express a lot of emotions. One is your eyes, and one is your soul.
Hmm. Yes.
Soul can't speak. You can see the eyes and you can tell the person is sad, crying, emotional, whatever. Your soul
Absolutely.
can't speak. There should
Yeah.
be a language your soul speaks. I
Hmm.
think
Hmm.
love would be that language, but even love other people can't understand. But when you start singing a sad song, or when you sing a sad emotional song, why do people start crying? Or when,
Always.
for that instance, when you sing in a crowd, why do you start feeling so nervous, overjoyed?
Hmm.
Other people are reciprocating what it is. Or for example, there are some ragams in Carnatic music which are very deep, tense, like Charanata and everything. It gives you subtle, some kind of feeling. How do that
Hmm.
happen? Because the soul understands music,
Wow. Hmm.
and when your soul starts understanding, you feel it's something like the work is done from inside out, not outside in. So when your
Hmm.
soul is recharged, your chakras activate, and that's how your brain starts understanding, okay, this is something familiar, I can understand. And that's how a person grows. you know uh,
Right. Hmm.
materialistically speaking, this would be okay कि पैसा कमा लिया, गाड़ी कमा लिया, ठीक है, that's still that's there till 50. But after that, you need to connect to the universe or the god. That one thing you cannot change, and I think music will do that for you. It's worth it. It will take time. It will definitely take a lot and lots of time and efforts, because it takes a lot of time for your you should also be available. You should start singing, you should practice and everything. But any kind of music, be it instrument, be it singing, be it listening, be it comprehending also, for that some reason,
Hmm.
everything your soul understands, and soul is the only purpose. We are here to fulfill our soul. Materialistic things, we obviously everybody wants materialistic things. Being a gen Z, I would say मुझे ये करना है, I want this job, I want that job, I want to go in this career page, that career page. That's all fine, but
Hmm.
where do you seek, where do you go at the end of the day when you're tired? That
Hmm.
question, that answers why you should learn music.
Wow.
Listen to music or sing or whatever, any form of music, I think.
Anything that'll give you
Correct.
peace, that'll give you happiness, that'll give you inner
Correct.
happiness, and
Correct.
then that'll give you
Hmm.
uh, healing powers as well. So
Correct. It has a lot
that
of healing powers, you know. Music healed me in ways, you know, other things couldn't. You know, it healed me a lot of Carnatic music, the kritis. There are favorite set of compositions that healed me, that made me realize ki, what am I seeking in this world? If I've come for a purpose, what is it? How do I seek this? How do I seek that? I think that thought process comes when you start self-introspecting, but then that, you know, that is triggered by a lot of instances, specifically music, I feel. There's a sense of pride also. I don't know if other musicians agree, but I am very, you know, I feel that a good pride, of course, not the bad one. Good pride, you know, okay, I'm learning music. I can express it more better, you know. This is a sense of good pride also. Again, that's a validation, that's a form of validation. So I think I believe in it. So that's.
Okay. So by listening to whatever you said, I'm sure 100%, hands down, you want to really gratify music to yourself.
I do.
Is there anybody in your life, or is there somebody in your life who you want to thank or send gratification, who always supported of whatever you did in your journey? Is there anybody? Because Sachin always takes this name of
Correct,
his
correct, correct.
sir,
I think that
Ashlekar
person
sir.
is still in my life, I would say. There's this one person that's not in my life anymore, but I would like to thank is when I was a child, okay, I went for a music competition, which of course I couldn't win or something, but that girl, I don't even remember her name, of course, but that girl gave me the motivation. She was singing in front of Sri Kanchi Kamakoti's Peethadipati. He came to Visakhapatnam for a reason, and she was singing, I would say, Garuda Gamana. She sang Jai Jai Durga also. That was when that little girl, when she was 30, she decided she'll be a performer. She'll also sing, where everybody would be proud of that little girl. I think that girl gave me the. She's not, of course, madam, I don't know who she is, but I think she came in the form of a stranger and, you know, gave me that motivation. Currently speaking, there are like 5 or 6 people I would always thank.
Who do you want to pick? So if given a choice, this is the person. Who is that person?
I think that's difficult, but since I would say that's my mom and dad, of course. Guru is
Okay.
always on the top, of course.
Okay.
Guru Kata, I'm not even saying because she keeps on supporting me. But if I had to pick, that would be my, in a cute way, that would be my mom. In a respectful way, that would be my dad. Because without my mom's scoldings every day, I wouldn't be able to go in that direction.
I can so relate that.
I think if it would be in a respectful way, it would be my dad for comforting me when things didn't go well, for being there for when, you know, he supports me. He said he'll support me in everything, every decision I take. I think it would be my mom and dad in a cute and respectful way. I think it would be my sister. She is the duo I've ever asked for. I'm thankful to God because she's the person who I sing along. Like, we are a duo, so we go everywhere together. We sing together. We're like that Ranjani Gayatri duo. Of course, I idolize them a lot. Or MS Party and Radha Party, of course. Not like them, but I idolize them. You know, manifesting I would want to be like them one day. So I think picking is difficult, but I think I showed you my priorities or preferences, how it would be.
Right.
Yeah.
So one question that I would love to ask everybody. So what are your dreams in music? What do you want to become tomorrow?
Okay. I think my favorite dream would be setting up a music school
Okay.
where not like the conventional musicians, you know, they keep on saying yehi gana hai, wohi gana hai, like sing like this, sing like that. I think I would, my school, I've named the school also Prama because my sister's name is Pranita and my name is Manaswitha, so it's Prama. So I would name that where violin would be taught. Of course, music is accessible to everybody out there, and everybody will get a daily dose of motivation. Ki do this for yourself, not for competition, because competition jeet loge. You'll win competitions
Which
for
will
like
win.
you'll win for like 30 years. Uske baad there should be this one thing. Now when you're singing before God, you should be, that's the only way you'll connect with him, you know. That's why music is also one of those forms of liberation, we say. So I want to teach young kids, the alpha z and the other generations, you know, to actually learn music. Why should they learn, rather than saying you should learn, you should win, you should do. Rather than that, I would teach them why they should do this, or why
Mm.
it could be a good help for them. And after
Mm.
that, if they don't want to learn, that's their choice. But I think pushing a bit of music on them would make this world a better place, I would believe. So I think that would be the change, and that's one of the dreams. And the second dream would be, I would want to perform on a national level, you know, paid concerts, of course. There would be huge crowd out there, like lakhs and lakhs of people out there,
Mm.
and those people would be, you know, listening to me. Though my mini me, who was very scared of singing outside, would be satisfied. Her soul would be satisfied. So I think that's two dreams I've put up for myself before I turn 30. That's a long
Super.
time, but yeah,
Of course, eventually you'll get there.
correct,
So because everything starts small,
correct,
right?
correct,
So you've already started your journey. So I'm sure
correct.
you
That
will
should be
definitely one day get there, and then
correct,
Trauma will as an organization,
correct.
as an
Yeah,
institute, will be set up somewhere.
correct.
So well, it was actually wonderful talking to you, because you know, I got to learn a lot of things. Well, I think when it comes to viewers, right? So even I'm sure
I
they would have had a lot of
I
things
hope the
they.
younger generation got a new perspective, which I think I took time to figure out. I would be very happy if those people take that perspective, because this is the latest generation. ठीक है, you have to listen to the elders, but for people who are achievers, for people who have been there into hardships and who have learned a lot of stuff, I think this would be uncanny opinions, you know.
Hmm.
Things would change them for the better, you know. These are all the opinions which I've found after, you know, seeing the world, after seeing a lot of people, after seeing people sing. That's how I bought an opinion for myself. So I think I'm sure the younger generation would like it, and they would learn, because initially you would feel like, I don't want to learn this, just keep this away from me. But then after a age when you start understanding why the nadam is important, because in this heavy hustling world, I think you should find your way back to the soul, because that is a constant. Nobody can
Super.
change that fact, you know. Even if you go to America, you go to London, you go to any part of the world, they would say the same
Hmm.
thing. You have to get back to your soul, and that will only happen through different forms of liberation, art, and I think music is one of them. Carnatic
I
music, much better, of course.
like I actually completely agree.
Correct.
So this brings us to the end of this talk. Thank you so much, Manaswitha,
Thank you for
for being
having the
here with us.
patience to listen to all of this. So
Anything is okay. So so we would want to really thank you and gratify you. So we would want to wish you, as an institute, we would want to wish you
thank you,
the very best of luck.
thank you.
And personally, please set up something that you really like. So yeah, I know, I'm sure you will do that eventually. But
Yeah,
yes,
sure,
so,
I'll do that.
we wish you all the best for
Thank you.
the endeavors that you have, the plan that you have. For the viewers, thank you so much for joining. Let's all wish Manaswitha a very best of luck in her
Thank you.
life, in her musical journey, and we will see you soon with the next episode of Color Conversations. Until then, stay tuned. I'm sure everything is good for the right cause. Thank you so much.